Shalom, shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Badash. Double honors to all the apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. And honors to all you brothers who are still suffering these afflictions to bring out the truth every single day. And the Spirit this morning had me to think about a couple of things. I feel like one of the reasons why people don't attach themselves to the Bible is because they feel like they weren't there. You know what I mean? And here we have the 12 tribes of Israel around 1200 BC through 1050 BC. All right. According to the book of Joshua, so it says. Now, I don't know how accurate or inaccurate this is, you know what I mean? Because it could either be Salakia 100% on point or not, you know. But I just seen it, and you know this was this right here. This was us. This was us at one time, and by us I mean the children of Israel. You know, you see you got Asher at the top, Naphtali, Zebulon, Issachar, Manasseh also over here, Gad, Reuben, Simeon, Judah, Benjamin, Ephraim, Dan. You know, and you know, a lot of these people that lived there in those times, you know, according to 12,000 BC, the same people that inhabited these places at that time, they're here on the earth today through reincarnation. So a lot of, you know, if you go to the store, you know, and you see a Iscarite guy, you know, he could have been here in this time. You know, he could have been up here in this middle part at this time. And to prove that, not basically to prove, because there's nothing to prove, but to show that there is such thing as reincarnation, we're just going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, and I'm going to start at verse 1, and eventually I'll get to the point, and I'll just break it down on my way there. And it reads, "These are the words of the covenant, which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab." So number one, that proves that there's people and then there's places. Just because they're in the land of Moab doesn't mean that they're Moabites. You see, these scholars and all that shit, man, they're trying to say, oh, well, they were in the land of Moab, so this and that. And they know what the fuck the scriptures are talking about. They were in the land of Moab. All right? Like they were all over the place. And like I said, this is from 1200 BC. You know, so this is just just a map of kind of how we could say it originally was, you know, because that's a fair statement. And I'll continue. Beside the covenant which he had made with them in Horeb, right? Because he's constantly making proclamations, you know, and showing the covenants, because the Lord is speaking to Moses, and then Moses is speaking to his people. Because remember, he's not an Egyptian. He was raised in Egypt, but he's an Israelite, you know. And Moses called unto all Israel, right? So all the tribes of Israel, all 12 tribes, and said unto them, Ye have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt unto Pharaoh, and unto all his servants, and unto all his land. And the great temptations with thine eyes have seen, the signs in those great miracles. So I'm going to go down to two right here. I'm going to go ahead and break that down. So we saw, you know, and those that know, you read about how they escaped from Pharaoh. And the Pharaoh of Egypt, who is also alive today, okay, reincarnated. He tried to chase the children of Israel to put them to death, specifically, the men. Of course, he wanted the women to keep, but he wanted to get rid of all the men. So what Moses is saying is, you saw what he did for us. You've seen all the miracles that he's done. He parted the Red Sea. He's gotten you out of countless situations. And you've seen these signs, you know what I mean, before your eyes, unto Pharaoh. So what's happened to Pharaoh, is directly from the Lord, and unto all of his servants, and unto all of his land. So you see, Egypt was getting plagued with all sorts of pestilences. And you've heard the stories, and in Sunday school, they used to teach you that, depending on depending on when you went, they may give you a little bit of insight. They would say, oh, well, there were frogs raining from the sky, and other things like that, locusts, and these plagues that were coming upon Egypt for how the Pharaoh was coming up against the Israelites. You know what I mean? Because there were and of course, there was Jake. Jake was scattered in Egypt too at that time. So it was also a factor too, because a lot of these Israelites, they stayed in Egypt. Now all the tribes left. All the tribes had left with Moses, and they had escaped. So this is what he's telling them. You've seen the great temptations with your eyes and signs and miracles. And I'll continue to read. Yet the Lord hath not given you a heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear unto this day. Now this is the point that I want to get to, and this is why this proves reincarnation, right? What did the Lord continue to say time and time and time again? What did he continue to say time and time and time again? Every single time he showed them something, right? They didn't, it's not that they didn't care. Of course, they were like, oh yeah, great. But only Moses is perceiving this exactly how it should be perceived. Now also, now Moses had people among him, obviously, that were more learned than the quote unquote regular, regular Israelites. But you see that right here. This inadvertently proves reincarnation. Just right here. If you don't understand how that proves reincarnation, then the spirit ain't on you, man. Let's read it one more time. Yet the Lord hath not given you a heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear unto this day. All right? Unto this day. So this very day that I'm reading this, a lot of Jake still doesn't have a heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear. And that proves that most of our people are done. 2/3 of our people are done. And that's specifically, as far as Israel. A little bit from Judah, a little bit from Gad, a little bit from Reuben, a little bit from Dan. But, overall, Jake is done for. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't hear, you don't see, and that's the thing. A lot of these people, man, they don't believe in reincarnation. They don't believe that you are your forefathers. So if your forefather didn't have a heart to perceive, ears to hear, eyes to see, then you don't. So that's why a lot of these niggas are black consciousness, Black Lives Matter. Okay, there are all these other groups and Buddhists and all this other shit because their ears have been closed off. And the Lord said he was going to do that. He said he's the one who said he was going to confound, a lot of y'all jakes. So the ones that can't hear, they're constantly trying to spread this wicked vibration. First of all, that this map isn't true. They try to say that this wasn't the case years ago, this is how they all used to live. 1200 BC. This is how they lived. And, here's a little something for the hopeful elect. Because most of the time, all you have is scoffers watching your videos. Whether you have 5 views or 5,000 views, for the most part, it's scoffers. So we just go forget the scoffers. But for the hopeful elect that are listening, as you see this map right here, if you look real close, the Lord constantly talks about how something that's yours is always yours, such as the covenant. His promise to his people is permanent. So as you see this map right here, this is how it will be when the hopeful elect are chosen and we return back to our land. Moab is going to be all the way down here. Edom is going to be down here. Amalek is going to be over here to the left. And they just add Philistia. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of, I don't know. I don't even know if Philistinians were even there during the 1200 BC. That sounds like they may be going off. Just like I feel like these Ammonites or whatever, I feel like up here next to Gad, they're a little bit too close. So I feel like, that may be a bit off. But when I say how it'll be, I'm not saying that Edomites will be living good, Moabites will be living good. No. These people don't understand. And for the majority, women aren't going to understand how it is in the kingdom. Understand. When the Lord comes with his innumerable amount of angels, right? And he destroys this place through what you would perceive as a UFO. There's going to be an innumerable amount of them that are going to come. And the people of these nations, Moab, Edom, they're going to try to rise up against the Most High. And they're going to fail miserably. And not only that, but 144,000 men, 12,000 from each tribe, will, for that moment in time, get a body not that is extraterrestrial, we'll say. It'll have the ability to make you a hunter, and you along with Yahushua HaMashiach will be hunting down people. This will for the regular folks, it'll seem like a long time. Of course there'll be nukes. You know what I'm saying? Of course there'll be nukes, but prior to the nukes, these elect men, right, are going to be beamed up. And so as they're beamed up into these chariots, they'll be given a certain amount of power. And when they're given this certain amount of power, this power is going to be used in order to make the land over in Israel like this again. You see, so after the multiple deaths, because we're gonna keep Edom around. Edom has to stay around for a little bit. I believe 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. But anyways, after we get beamed up, we obviously in the nukes cleanse this land. Obviously you're gonna need to rebuild things. Obviously, so obviously we're gonna have Edomites building up what we have here. Now, if you look at Judah, right? You see Judah and you see Simeon and then you see Edom. So here's what's going to happen to a lot of these women, man. You women out here, you need to understand, if you're dealing with an Israelite man, he understands the place of things in the future. See, we're looking at the past right here, the 12 tribes of Israel, but this is the future. See, because Jerusalem, as you can see where Benjamin is, that'll be our kingdom. Now, that's all the way at the top, right? So this is the top of the southern kingdom. And this will be where a lot of the most highest learned scholars will be, great men, right? So as we get down to maybe about where Simeon is, you're going to see a wall, per se. And you won't be able to pass this wall unless you are 1/3. You understand that if you're a 1/3 person, you'll be able to dwell, all in this middle part. you'll be able to dwell down all in this middle part right here. But you two-thirds of people who must be destroyed, okay? Of course, when a two-thirds person gets destroyed by a nuke and they come and they're waiting in the spirit world for judgment, you know what I mean? It's not going to be like they're getting tortured or anything like that. You know, that's why the notion of hell is non-existent. But when we all get sent back to earth, because one day, you know, those 144,000 men will lord over this earth, you know? And not only that, but Yahushai, King David, there will be a hierarchy on this earth, and it will never cease, you know? And it'll look just, and in the future, it'll look just like this place. Let me finish my point here. And this is what the ladies really need to understand. If you're dealing with an Israelite man, okay, you don't want to find yourself on the wrong end of this thing, because where you're going to wind up, right, is the land of the two-thirds. And the land of the two-thirds is down here. Now, if you look all the way at the bottom, there's the wilderness of Zin, there's Amalek on the left side, and there's Edom right here on the right side. See, in the spirit world, in the spirit world, you're gonna be caught there. You know what I mean? You're going to be when we're all returned back to earth. You're gonna be down there. The two-thirds, which is gonna be it's gonna be primarily women. You know what I mean? It is going to be primarily women. Now, there's gonna be a lot of niggas, but the two-thirds are gonna be down here in the wilderness of Zin. So let's say that you know, all this shit pops off. Let's say today, right? And the earth is nuked, right? It's quote unquote destroyed, and which means basically cleansed. And before that destruction, those men are beamed up. All right, those 1/3 and those 144,000 men. So they're beamed up. So they're saved from the destruction, and they're given new bodies, right? So they're not gonna taste death. So they're just gonna return to earth. So you're in the spirit world. So you have to get prepared, however you're prepared, and they prepare you to come back down to earth, right? When we're all finally dwelling on the earth. You will be commanded to go down here to the wilderness of Zin. And a lot of these two-thirds people will say, oh, well, why? Well, nigga, you didn't believe in the Most High. A lot of these women, they lay wait for their Israelite men to falter, man. And those women, those wolves in sheep's clothing, they're going to be stuck down here in the wilderness of Zin. Now, I'm going to let you know something else. A lot of the elect men are going to be up here. See, this will be the meeting spot, because the northern kingdom will always be up here. You know, a lot of those great men, this is where they'll live at, you know, and certain days, you know, you may have a certain day where you got to meet a brother or something like that. They'll all come down to Jerusalem. Most likely, you know, they'll probably just come down here to Jerusalem. And see, the men of Judah are going to be up here. So the two-thirds are going to be in the, the one-thirds are going to be in the middle. So these are still great. These are still great people. You know what I'm saying? They're not on the level of the 144,000 though. The 144,000 are like the ultimate. They're like the ultimate judges. You know what I mean? They're like the quote-unquote celebrities of the bunch. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll be in the nicest of homes. And the one-thirds will have very nice homes. In the middle right here, right here in the middle, you know, it'll be excellent. You know, it'll be an excellent thing to see. But on the bottom here in the wilderness of Zin, this is where the two-thirds are going to dwell. So you may be elect, and your wife, you know what I'm saying, was a non-believer, and she was smited for that, and she was considered two-thirds, right? So she's all the way down here. So if you the elect, right, and you up here, why the fuck you gonna come down here to see your wife? Why would you even come down here? There's no reason for a man of such high stature. He's gonna be up here. He's gonna be in Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Gabaon. You know what I mean? Jarmut. You know, he's gonna be up here. He's not gonna waste his time going down to Kadesh. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna waste his time going down here. So a lot of you women, man, you need to raise these men up in spirit, and that doesn't mean by teaching them or anything like that. But you know, when your Israelite man tells you certain things, believe him, because when I say this to a woman, you know, to your woman, whatever happens, and when I say to your woman, I mean my woman, not so nobody confuses anything, because I as a Israelite man, you shouldn't be teaching another man's woman, you know, that's backwards, that shouldn't be what's going down. But if you think about it, a lot of these people that talk shit, they're going to be all the way at the bottom. So there's not going to be a spirit of rebellion. Let's go up to Jerusalem and speak our peace. In those times, that won't be apparent, because righteousness will be established on the earth. The Moabites will be in their land, and they will not cross. Most likely, if you look at the land of Moab right here, most likely how it'll be set up is, if you can see this river right here, you see the river at the bottom, and you see this river right here. So naturally, the Lord has already created lines. So, that Moab will have their little spot, where they can just be at, because they're not going to be necessarily completely exterminated. Only Edomites. Edom right here will no longer be a thing after 1,000 years. Now, here's where it really gets deeper, man. A lot of you non-believers, man, a lot of you women, and a lot of you men, you niggas, not only will y'all be in the wilderness of Zin, right? But after that 1,000 years, all these men up here are gonna come down to Edom, and they're gonna exterminate Edomites. After that 1,000 years of hard slavery and hard bondage is up, every single tribe from up here is going to gather their men, and most likely we'll do it in a very warlike fashion. We'll all most likely take the River Jordan, and we'll probably take boats, right? And we'll take all of our boats and all of our men down to the Dead Sea, right? And we'll probably just pull up right at Zohar. If you can see Zohar, we'll pull up at Zohar, right? That'll be most of the boats. And then a small number of men are going to take this river down to the right, and they're going to flank them, they're going to flank them at the end into Basra. So we're going to have some Israelites from the back here pushing them up into Tamar, right? Pushing them up towards that 2/3 marker, and we'll be slaughtering them. So the 2/3 are gonna hear the death of the Edomites, and that's why they're gonna sigh and cry, because they're gonna be like, wow, all of this is true. The things that they spoke are true, and they're still gonna be bugged out about it. So after we kill all the Edomites, guess what's gonna happen? All the 2/3 in the wilderness of Zin right here, they're going to be moved, okay? They're going to be moved slightly to the right, okay? They're going to move them as close to Edom as they can. They're not going to move them in Edom. They're going to move them close to Edom. And the land of Edom is going to be empty. It's going to be a remembrance. It's going to be dead. No trees are going to grow there. It'll be ransacked. And the punishment for the 2/3, right, will be you have to dwell next to the land of Edom, so they'll be able to see it from a distance. They'll still have their, quote unquote land or whatnot, but it won't be the choice land. The choice land is up here. You see, this is where the action happens, but they'll be down here. You see, and they'll look at Edom and they'll rejoice at the fact that we destroyed them. Even the 2/3 are going to be happy that the righteous are in authority. You know what I mean? And let me go ahead after that and just kind of finish reading here. But I'm going to say this, man. You women, y'all don't want to be down here in the wilderness of Zin, because the thing is, the Lord, he's going to have you as a spirit. So you're not going to be able to die. You understand that? Like, you know how they say, oh, like your punishment is to wander in the wilderness. Well, in essence, that's what it'll be. You know what I'm saying? You'll always be able to come up here, you'll be able to come up towards the middle, but you won't be able to go into the land of the 1/3. The 2/3 cannot mix with the 1/3. You understand? Now the 1/3 can go down into the wilderness of Zin if they want to. You might pick up a 2/3 chick. She's a virgin. You know what I mean? Hey, it is what it is. You can, and a lot of the men up here, a lot of the men up here are gonna go down to this middle. You know what I'm saying? Because everything's gonna constantly be in righteousness forever. So obviously there's still gonna be weddings taking place. There's still gonna be people taking in marriage and whatnot. But 2/3 women are gonna be undesirables, man, and you'll be forced to you'll basically be forced to live a life of mediocrity. Because you're gonna see all sorts of things at night, next to here in Jerusalem at night, and this is when righteousness is established on earth. But you just think about these things and you read about them, and it becomes manifest to you. And that's why I'm saying this, because I know these things to be true. And all my fellow Akim, in the name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Rakakwadash, all the elders at Great Millstone, they know exactly what will be taking place at night in Jerusalem, right? You'll see lights. You understand? You'll see lights shooting up out of Jerusalem, and that'll be those 144,000 men. They'll have the ability to go like almost like the speed of light. You understand? So if a man wants to, if the elect wants to, he can beam from Jerusalem, and he can beam all the way down to Kadesh if he wants to. And because of the and through the Lord's sanction, nothing can happen to him. You'll go down, right? You can beam from Jerusalem, and you'll beam down to Kadesh. Let's say to visit. Let's say the wife that was going off. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord found her as 2/3. You can go down there to visit her, but what's she going to say? Oh, take me back with you up to Jerusalem. See, because you can beam. You have the ability to do that. You know what I'm saying? But she won't have the ability to do that. So you're going to see that. That's going to be the real reason why the 2/3, are going to be so not melancholy. They're going to rejoice because they're not going to have to work, like in the sense of, going to a job, that everybody's going to have to work. But you're not going to have any of these 2/3 women throwing rocks or anything at the elect or the 1/3. If a 1/3 man from Hebron, he comes down to, let's say the end of the river of Zin, and he says, you know what, I want to take a wife. You know what I mean? He can come down to here, no problems, get a wife, and he can come right back up here. None of the men down here in Kadesh can say, oh no, you can't take her, because they won't have any say so, because all the 1/3 has to say to the 2/3 is, okay, and whose authority do you say that under? That'll be the jurisdiction around here. The 2/3 won't be able to answer anything necessarily in righteousness. Now they'll be righteous. You know what I mean? The ability to sin and go off won't be there, but they'll still be in an unchoice place. You know what I mean? Because there's levels. Like even 1/3, right? So 1/3 will be able to go to a lot of places, but they won't be able to go into the kingdom. You see, in the kingdom is right here. You see where Jerusalem is. Right here in the middle. This will be a walled fortress city where nobody can get in unless you are one of the 144,000. Or if that 144,000 bring you in. Now, one of the elect can leave out of Jerusalem and come to Laquis, Jarmut, Hebron. You see down here, and I'm just giving names, but he can come down there, speak to whoever, and take them back. He can take you back to the kingdom, of course. But you on your own on your own, you won't be able to enter. There's no way. There will be 12 gates, and you can only get through that gate if you're, first of all, if you're one of the 12,000 from your tribe. Now, if you've been chosen as one of the elect, you can go in and out of the kingdom as you please. So a lot of the elect men, hell, they might even go down to Kadesh, to get some women. That's fine in righteousness. That's completely fine. And they can bring 2/3 women back into the kingdom as concubines, as wives. And that's gonna bring a lot of confusion too, because they're gonna say, well, damn, how come I can't get into the kingdom? You took so and so, So there's gonna be the room for jealousy, but the spirit of jealousy won't be on them. They're gonna be so happy about the fact that Edom isn't over them, because they seen the death of Edom. You know what I mean? How I described all the men of Israel coming down and slaughtering Edomites after that 1,000 years. They'll still be rejoicing over that. So it's not like they're gonna mind, but they'll know. They'll see the city. You'll be able to see the light. You know what I mean? Emanating when these elect beam around. You'll be able to see them. Like, you ever watch Dragon Ball Z, and they can beam from one place to the other, and when they show up at the place that they beam to, it's like a light. That's what you'll see. It'll look like missiles almost, but a lot faster, like a zoom, zoom sort of noise. So a lot of times, you people that don't believe, man, you got to understand that we're already blowing past you, man. We're already past you. We know what's going to happen. There's going to be 12 gates, and these 12 gates are going to be the opening to the most glorious city you've ever seen in your entire life. It'll be gold. There'll be silver, and it'll be nothing, because that isn't our treasure. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is our treasure, and for that He'll give us our ultimate treasures, which will be for our feet, for gold to be up under our feet as we walk around, And all you women, man, all you women scoffers, you're gonna be down here in Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin, man. And you'll dream about the great times that are had in the lands of the 1/3. And the people in the 1/3 will dream about the good times that are to be had in the kingdom. You understand? But a lot of times the men from the kingdom will come to the land of the 1/3 and give words of encouragement, teach. There'll be people that are taught, brought up, more in the spirit, because we'll constantly, even after all this is said and done, we'll still be reading the scripts. We'll still be going over precepts. We'll still be praising His name forever for showing us what was to come. And we'll constantly sing His praises, man. We'll be going over precepts, just like we were in the world. We'll be going over precepts and everything else. In the 2/3 down here, they still won't understand why, because what did the Lord say? What did the Lord say? If you go up here, He said, verse 4, yet the Lord hath not given you a heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear unto this day. So even then they won't have eyes to see, ears to hear. They're not going to understand what's going on. They're going to understand, okay, these are the men of the Lord. It's not like they're going to be confounded, but they're not going to understand why we still praise Him so much, why we're doing all of this. Because you're going to be able to hear it. Down in the wilderness of Zin, you're going to be able to hear it. You're going to be able to hear the 1/3 and the elect men screaming. You know what I'm saying? Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And in the land of the 2/3, they're going to feel like, oh, thank God for me not being in the slavery of the world, worldly slavery. But I don't feel the excitement and the joy that these men do, and that'll be their lot. Their lot will be to live a life of mediocrity and to hear about the great things, They're not going to be able to understand, to perceive, And that's how as they are on the earth, that's how they'll be when the spirit world is manifested here on earth, And I'm just going to read these last couple ones, and I'll end this video. And when ye came unto this place, Sihon, the king of Heshbon, And Og, the king of Bashan, came out against us unto battle, and we smote them, and we took their land. So see, once again, people say, oh, you can't take land, you can't do this and that. It's done in righteousness. So when we come down and we kill all the Edomites, you know what I'm saying, and we take their land and give it to nothing, by making it empty, we're giving that to nothingness. We're giving their land to zero, to something that doesn't exist, and we're eradicating them. So it's okay to take land. Basically, that's what I get from it. And I'll continue and give it for an inheritance. So see, once again, this land is going to be an inheritance. The 2/3 inherit the land of Kadesh. The 1/3 inherit the land of Arad, and the elect inherit the land of Jerusalem. You see, you earn your keep. You understand? And a lot of men that are 1/3, they're gonna earn their way into the kingdom. Now they will not be they're not gonna be any numbers added. There won't be 144,001. That's going off. But they'll earn their spot, to the point where the elect will say, hey, every time I go down to Debir, there's this young brother, he's this, he's that, and I feel like he's earned his keep, and he'll be able to be taken back, you know what I'm saying, to the kingdom as maybe a scribe. Maybe he, does certain things. So he'll be found in great favor. So a lot of these people, man, depending on their hard work, they can find themselves, doing tasks for great men. A lot of these 1/3 women, they'll find favor in the eyes of the elect men, and they'll have their children, from working hard, not only keeping in silence, but having a good demeanor, and serving with rigor and with haste. You know what I mean? And not serving as a slave or nothing like that. I mean, serving in whatever she does, whether she's a concubine, a wife, And a lot of these 1/3 men, they're going to teach their children to kill Edomites by crossing the Dead Sea and going down and killing Edomites every once in a while. That'll be the thing. Hey, let's go and kill some Edomites. And once they're finally fully eradicated, we won't even need to come down there. And that's when the 2/3 are really going to be fucking screwed, because they won't even get to hear us killing Edomites. It's just going to be wilderness, you know what I'm saying? And they'll be able to get real close to the border, and look and stuff. And they'll have water, everything that they'll need, but they won't bestow the glory, man. The glory that they've wanted to miss out on, because when they were on the earth, what did they do? They scoffed. They denied the prophets of the Lord constantly. They came up against the men of the Lord. A lot of you women that are with men of the Lord, y'all are going to find y'all's ass in Kadesh, man, and good riddance. Because the men of the Lord are going to have many women, man, to do the bidding of the elect, man. They're going to do the bidding of the elect. And it's not up to us. If the Lord just so has it that he puts you in the land of the 2/3, we can't do nothing about that. We could even try to go get you, and we hear from our elder, no, you can't go get her. And all we're going to do is turn, con. That's it. That's all we're finna say, con, because you're not going to come up against your elder. You know what I mean? So even if we want to help you, we ain't going to be able to help you. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And I'll finish this, and I'll go ahead and sign out. And we took their land and gave it for an inheritance unto the Reubenites and to the Gadites and to the half tribe of Manasseh. So if you look, here's Reuben, here's Gad, and here's Manasseh. So you can tell that these are people, right? And then they became places, the land of. So that's why I say it's an inheritance. The land of Reuben, the land of Gad, the land of Manasseh. This wasn't just a place where Gad lived. This was a place where Manasseh lived, and this was a place where Reuben lived. No, these men had many children, and this was their land. This is where they inhabited, So, and that's how it'll be, manifested later on, man. So all you doubters, man, all you scoffers, get ready, man. You Edomites, get ready for slavery in those times. You 2/3, get ready to see the glory from a distance. Y'all will be in the stands. In the world, a lot of niggas like to say, yeah, nigga, y'all in the stands and I'm playing in the game. You feel me? But That's how we gonna be. You know, the 2/3 are gonna be in the stands. They're gonna be witnessing the glory of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You know, and they'll try to do whatever they can just to find favor in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You know, they'll have certain court systems, you know, in place. They'll have certain things where the 2/3 will try to imitate the 1/3 in righteousness. You know, and that'll be their lot to constantly try to be like the 1/3. You know, and just fall short. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like you can have the best football team in the nation, but let's say your football team is in Mississippi somewhere. You don't have the best facilities, so you can still be the best football player and have shitty facilities. So that's what it'll be. A lot of these 2/3 eventually, through a lot of hard work, they'll find themselves in a better position, but they'll still be there. But they'll reach a certain level, and that's what it'll be. Over time, these things will improve. The 2/3 will be more righteous than any nigga who ever lived on this earth as it is right now. They'll still be great people. That doesn't mean that they'll be slaves and no. They'll be at peace, but they'll have to watch from a distance. So to all my Akia man, keep pushing. Y'all are in the game. Everybody else is in the stands, man. We got to keep going, man. Keep going. Keep performing. Because one day, you'll be able to stay courtside, man. And that's what I pray. You ever watch when a lot of the old school NBA stars, when they go to a game, right? What do? All the people in the stands, they look like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Even the players on the court look like, oh shit. Like when Michael Jordan goes to a basketball game, even the players on the court are like, wow, man, like it's a legend. You feel me? Like that's what it'll be like. The legend on the court is the 144,000, and the 1/3 are the men on the court. You see? And the 2/3 are the people in the stands. So what do we do as great men? We revere others, man. You learn who you got your hook shot from. You learn who you got your post from. So you people in the stands, keep watching those 144,000 on this earth, man. Keep watching, man, because we're watching the men on the court. You know what I'm saying? And the men on the court are those 1/3, man, because I aim to be that's why I say the hopeful elect. Because I aim to be the elect. I don't want to be the 1/3. You understand? I plan on coaching the teams. You know what I mean? Because you play on the team. Because you playing on the team right now. But in time, from what you learn, the Lord will give you a position to coach. And He'll always give the position of the spectator to the spectator. So you 2/3 keep watching. You 1/3 keep playing, keep going through that book, and to you great men, you legends, the elders at Great Millstone, and the elders, in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai from all across the four corners, we'll continue to look at you and know that you gave that sacrifice. You hurt your knees. A lot of these elders that spent the time to teach us this, they were out on the highways and byways when we were in the schoolhouse. You know what I'm saying? So when they come out to the game, when they come out and they see us on the court, hey, I've been looking at the way you going over the precepts. It's the same way as how they would say, hey, young buck, I used to play back in the day. I like the way you do that hook shot. That was me. I used to do the hook shot. You understand? So and who watches the legends on the court? You understand? This is where the sports analogy gets deep. Who watches over the whole game? The guys, the announcers in the sports boxes, man, at the stadium. And who are those? Those are the angels. And see, the angels watch the legends and they point them out. You see, and they say, "Oh, that's so and so." Just like how you go to a basketball game and only the announcers. Only the announcers know who a lot of the legends are. They'll point them out in the crowd. Oh, that's Dr. J. You see, the people in the crowd, they're not old enough. They're not experienced enough to know who the legends in the room are. But the people, the announcers who've been announcing for a long time, you understand, they know who these great men are. So the angels that dwell over us, they know who the great men are. who are Apostle Tahara, and the rest of them. They know who the true legends are, and they're getting older, but that spirit in them to teach is still there. They are. Physically they are becoming less and less, but their spirit is becoming stronger. And I pray one day that, I can be a quote unquote, OG legend in this game. I pray one day that I'm like Dr. J in the spirit one day, and to to all the apostles, man, thanks for showing us the game, man. Cause everybody constantly switching teams, man. You know what I'm saying? But the legends, once again, another sports analogy, the legends that are true legends, they never leave their team, man. You know what I mean? And that's the apostles, man. The apostles never left the team of Yahweh Shai. That's our coach. We are the best team on the planet. We go win the not only will we win the championship, but the party that we have after we win this championship against Team Esau, once we beat Team Esau, we'll party, quote unquote, all day and night. We'll sing praises. We'll be eating unleavened bread, olives, wine. The men will be reading. We'll still be reading precepts. Just get ready, man. Get ready. And to the elect, shalom.